What if a single update, just a few quiet words and one unexpected photo, was enough to send little people, big world fans into a spiral of concern? Over the past few days, Tori Roloff shared a subtle health-related update. No dramatic headline, no emotional explanation, just a moment. But somehow, that moment said more than she may have intended. Almost immediately, fans began asking the same unsettling question. Is Tori really okay? Or is there more happening behind the scenes? Because it wasn't just what she shared, it was what she didn't say. The tone felt different. The timing felt unusual, and longtime followers noticed the shift right away. Now, the conversation has grown even bigger. Some fans believe this could be connected to deeper health concerns. Others are wondering if this moment marks the beginning of another major life change, one that could reshape Tori and Zach's future once again. And perhaps most surprising of all, whispers have started about whether Tori may already be thinking about expanding her family. Tonight, we're breaking down everything. What Tori actually revealed, why fans are so concerned, what's fact versus speculation, and what this could mean for her health, her family, and the next chapter of her life. Because sometimes, the quietest updates carry the loudest questions. Tori Roloff has always stood out as one of the most genuine and relatable faces to come out of Little People, Big World. From the very beginning, she never tried to present a perfect image. Instead, she shared the real moments, the joyful milestones, the exhausting days of motherhood, the emotional struggles, and everything in between. That honesty is exactly why fans have stayed connected to her, even as so much around the Roloff family has changed. Over the years, viewers have watched Tori grow from a young newlywed into a mother of 3, balancing family life while living under the constant attention that comes with reality television. And through it all, she's been remarkably open. She's shared her fears, her doubts, her challenges, and her victories in ways that made fans feel like they weren't just watching her story. They were part of it. But recently, something felt different. It wasn't a dramatic announcement. There was no headline, no major reveal, no clear explanation. Instead, it was a quiet health update, a post that felt more reflective, more emotional, and noticeably heavier than her usual updates. There was a tone to it that longtime followers immediately recognized. Not panic, not crisis, but something deeper, something that suggested she might be carrying more than she was saying out loud. And fans noticed right away. Within hours, the comment section filled with messages of concern and support. People asked if she was okay. Others shared encouragement, reminding her to take care of herself. Some simply thanked her for being honest, even without giving full details. But what stood out most wasn't just what was said, it was what wasn't said. The lack of explanation left room for questions, and naturally, fans began trying to understand what might be happening behind the scenes. For those who have followed Tori's journey closely, this moment didn't exist in isolation. It connected to a larger pattern, a history of physical, emotional, and mental challenges that she has faced publicly over the years. From the physical toll of multiple pregnancies to the emotional adjustment of stepping away from Little People, Big World, her life has gone through significant transitions. Leaving the show alone marked a major shift. For over a decade, cameras had documented her daily life. Then suddenly, that chapter closed. While it gave her family more privacy, it also meant stepping away from something that had been a constant part of her identity. That kind of change can affect anyone, even when it's the right decision. And beyond the show, there's the reality of motherhood itself. Raising 3 young children is demanding under any circumstances. Doing it while navigating public attention adds another layer of pressure. Tori has spoken before about exhaustion, about learning to balance her own well-being with the needs of her family, and about the importance of slowing down when necessary. That's why this latest update has resonated so strongly. It's not just about one post, it's about everything fans have seen leading up to it. The quieter tone, the subtle shifts, the sense that she may be in a period of reflection, adjustment, or recovery, physically, emotionally, or both. At the same time, it's important to be clear. There has been no dramatic announcement, no confirmed crisis, and no verified emergency. What exists right now is concern, support, and a community of fans who care deeply about someone they've watched grow for years. And that's exactly what we're going to explore in this video. Step by step, we'll look at what Tori actually shared, the patterns fans have noticed, the context surrounding her recent updates, and why this moment feels different to so many people who have followed her journey. No exaggeration, no rumors, just the facts, the timeline, and the emotional reality behind the reactions. Because sometimes, the quietest updates can say the most. What made Tori Roloff's latest update stand out wasn't a dramatic headline or a direct announcement, it was the quiet tone behind it. There were no bold statements, no clear explanations, and no immediate reassurance. Instead, what fans saw was something much more subtle. A simple post, a calm image, and words that felt more reflective than celebratory. At first glance, it may have seemed like just another personal moment shared with her followers. But longtime fans of Little People, Big World know Tori's usual online presence. She's often warm, upbeat, and quick to share humor about everyday life, whether it's funny parenting moments, family milestones, or lighthearted reflections. This time, however, the tone felt noticeably different. One of the first things fans picked up on was the wording. While not alarming on the surface, the language carried a sense of emotional weight. It didn't sound like someone celebrating a victory or sharing excitement. Instead, it sounded like someone taking a pause, someone reflecting, someone possibly feeling overwhelmed, tired, or simply not at their usual energy level. And sometimes, it's not the words themselves, but the feeling behind them that people notice most. Another detail that stood out was the absence of her usual humor. Tori has built a strong connection with her audience by being open, relatable, and often playful. She jokes about parenting struggles, shares funny observations, and brings lightness even to stressful situations. But in this update, that familiar humor was missing. The tone felt quieter, more serious, more inward. For fans who have followed her journey for years, that shift was impossible to ignore. Timing also played a major role in fueling concern. This update came after a period of relative quiet from Tori. She hadn't been posting as frequently, and when someone who is normally active suddenly becomes less visible, people naturally begin to wonder why. When she finally did share something, instead of offering clarity, it left more questions than answers. It wasn't alarming because of anything she confirmed. It was concerning because of what remained unsaid. Tori didn't mention any diagnosis. She didn't describe a specific incident. She didn't explain whether the feelings were physical, emotional, or simply the result of exhaustion from daily life. And that silence created a space where fans began trying to interpret the meaning on their own. For many followers, this wasn't about jumping to conclusions. It was about recognizing patterns. Over the years, Tori has been open about the realities of balancing motherhood, personal challenges, and life changes. She has shared moments of vulnerability before, but often, those deeper explanations came later, after she had time to process everything privately. She has never been someone to immediately share every detail in real time. Instead, she tends to reflect quietly before opening up fully. That history is exactly why this recent update caught people's attention. Fans know that when Tori becomes more reflective and less expressive, it sometimes means she's navigating something internally. It doesn't automatically mean something serious is happening, but it does signal that she may be going through a period of emotional or mental adjustment. And for someone who has always been so open and relatable, even small changes can feel significant. There's also the reality that social media only shows fragments of a person's life. A single post can carry layers of meaning that outsiders can't fully understand. Tori may have simply been sharing a thoughtful moment, or she may have been expressing feelings that are part of a larger personal experience. Without direct clarification, fans are left reading between the lines. What makes this situation especially powerful is the connection Tori has built with her audience over the years. People don't just follow her for entertainment. They follow her because they feel invested in her journey. They've watched her become a mother, navigate life changes, and grow through both joyful and difficult moments. That emotional connection means fans notice even the smallest shifts. It's not about speculation, it's about care. And sometimes, when someone who is usually full of energy suddenly becomes quiet and reflective, it reminds people that even the strongest and most positive individuals have moments where they need to slow down, step back, and process life privately. At this point, the most important truth is simple. Tori hasn't confirmed anything alarming. There is no official statement suggesting a major health issue or crisis. What exists is only a subtle change in tone, one that fans noticed, one that sparked concern, and one that reminded everyone how deeply connected they feel to her story. But as history has shown, when Tori is ready to share more, she will do so in her own time, in her own way. And until then, fans continue to watch, wait, and hope that whatever she's going through, she's surrounded by support, strength, and the space she needs. For long-time viewers of Little People, Big World, concern for Tori Roloff doesn't come out of nowhere. It comes from years of watching her live through some of the most vulnerable, painful, and emotionally intense moments of her life, often in front of millions of people. Fans didn't just see the happy highlights. They saw the heartbreak, the uncertainty, and the quiet strength it took for her to keep going. Tori has been open in the past about experiencing miscarriage, something that deeply affected her both physically and emotionally. She spoke honestly about the grief, the confusion, and the healing process that followed. That kind of transparency created a powerful connection between her and the audience. It wasn't just reality TV anymore. It was real life, and fans felt invested in her well-being in a very personal way. She also went through multiple pregnancies, each bringing its own set of challenges. From physical discomfort to emotional exhaustion, pregnancy is never easy, and Tori never pretended it was. She shared moments of joy, but she also acknowledged the difficult days, the sleepless nights, and the stress that comes with raising a growing family. After welcoming 3 children, the demands on her time, body, and mental health naturally increased. And beyond motherhood, Tori has faced another unique challenge: living life under constant public attention. Every post, every absence, every small change in behavior is noticed and discussed. That kind of visibility can be overwhelming. Even when nothing is wrong, the pressure of always being watched can take an emotional toll. That's why fans have been paying closer attention recently. Over the past few months, many supporters have noticed subtle shifts, not dramatic announcements, but quiet changes that feel different from her usual presence. One of the most talked about changes has been her frequent mentions of exhaustion. Tori has always been honest about being tired. Any parent of young children can relate to that. But recently, fans feel that the tone of her comments has carried more weight. It hasn't sounded like casual tiredness. Instead, it's come across as deeper fatigue, the kind that suggests she may be carrying more than just a busy schedule. Exhaustion can come from many places. It can be physical, emotional, or simply the result of non-stop responsibility. Raising 3 young children, managing a household, and balancing public life is a full-time commitment. Even the strongest people need time to rest and recover. And when someone like Tori, who has always been active and engaged, begins to talk more openly about needing rest, people naturally take notice. Fans have also observed that she has been quieter on social media compared to previous periods. In the past, Tori regularly shared updates, family moments, and glimpses into everyday life. Her posts often reflected warmth, humor, and connection. But recently, the frequency and tone of those updates appear to have shifted. This doesn't mean she's disappeared entirely. She still shares moments, but there seems to be more space between them. For many fans, that silence speaks louder than words. It suggests she may be intentionally stepping back, choosing privacy over constant visibility. And in today's world, that choice is significant. Social media can be both supportive and overwhelming. Taking a step back doesn't necessarily mean something is wrong. It can also mean someone is protecting their peace. Another detail fans have pointed out is her growing emphasis on rest, routine, and boundaries. In recent conversations and posts, Tori has spoken more about slowing down, focusing on her family and prioritizing stability. She's mentioned the importance of being present, taking care of herself, and creating a calm environment for her children. This shift in focus reflects maturity and awareness. It suggests someone who understands their limits and is making conscious choices to protect their well-being. For many supporters, this isn't a sign of weakness, it's a sign of strength. But at the same time, it raises questions. Not dramatic questions, but quiet ones. Questions rooted in care and concern. Is she simply adjusting to a new phase of life? Is she taking time to recover from stress and exhaustion? Or is she navigating something more personal behind the scenes? The truth is, only Tori knows the full answer, and she has every right to keep parts of her life private. What makes this moment different isn't necessarily one single post or statement, it's the overall pattern. The quieter presence, the increased emphasis on rest, the subtle change in tone. Individually, each detail might seem small, but together, they create a picture that fans can't ignore. Importantly, most supporters aren't jumping to negative conclusions. Instead, they're responding with empathy. Messages of encouragement, love, and support continue to appear in comments and discussions. Fans aren't demanding explanations, they're offering understanding. This reflects the kind of relationship Tori has built with her audience over the years. It's not based on constant updates or perfect images. It's based on honesty, resilience, and authenticity. And sometimes, authenticity means stepping back. It means choosing rest over performance. It means protecting your energy when you need it most. For fans, the concern comes from a place of care, not speculation. They've seen her strength before. They've seen her overcome difficult moments. And now, they simply want to know that she's okay. At the end of the day, these subtle changes don't confirm anything negative. They don't prove something is wrong. But they do show that Tori may be in a quieter, more reflective season of her life, a time focused less on sharing everything and more on protecting what matters most. And for many fans, that's something they can understand, even if it leaves them watching closely, hoping for reassurance in the days ahead. Tori isn't facing this moment in isolation. Behind every update, every photo, and every quiet absence from social media is a woman carrying the full weight of motherhood, responsibility, and emotional resilience. Raising 3 young children is demanding in any situation, but for Tori and Zach, the responsibilities come with unique layers of care, attention, and long-term planning. Their son Jackson, their daughter Lila, and their youngest Josiah each bring joy to the family, but they also require constant support, patience, and presence. Fans who have followed their journey for years understand that parenting in their household isn't just about routines. It's about advocacy, medical awareness, emotional support, and creating an environment where each child feels safe and confident. That kind of parenting doesn't pause when a parent feels overwhelmed or unwell. It continues every single day. And lately, viewers have noticed something subtle, but meaningful, about Zach. He seems quieter. Not absent, not distant, but quieter in a way that suggests focus, intention, protection. While Tori has always been open and expressive with fans, Zach has taken on a steadier, more behind-the-scenes presence. He appears less concerned with public attention and more invested in what's happening inside the walls of their home. Fans have interpreted this shift as a sign that Zach is stepping in more, emotionally and practically, to support Tori during whatever she may be going through. It's not something he's announced, it's something people have felt. In recent appearances and family moments shared online, Zach's energy feels different. He's present, grounded, attentive, and in many ways that quiet strength speaks louder than any statement ever could. Because when one partner carries a heavy emotional load, the other often becomes the stabilizing force. And fans recognize that dynamic. Many longtime viewers remember how Tori has always been the emotional storyteller of the family, sharing milestones, documenting growth, and offering glimpses into their daily lives. She's been the bridge between their private world and the public audience who cares deeply about them. So when that bridge becomes quieter, even slightly, people notice. Not because they expect constant updates, but because her openness has always been part of how she connects with others. Stepping back, even subtly, suggests something has shifted. And that shift doesn't happen in isolation. It affects the rhythm of the entire household. Parenthood doesn't slow down when exhaustion sets in. It doesn't pause when emotional weight builds. Mornings still begin early. Bedtimes still require patience. Meals still need to be made. Comfort still needs to be given. And in families like theirs, those daily responsibilities are layered with additional emotional awareness. Fans understand that burnout isn't always loud. Sometimes it doesn't look like collapse. Sometimes it looks like quiet, stillness, fewer words, fewer posts, more focus on simply getting through each day. And that doesn't mean something is broken. It means something is human. For Tori, stepping away from the constant visibility of reality television may have given her more privacy, but it also removed a structure that once defined part of her identity. Being on television meant routines, production schedules, and a built-in outlet for expression. Without that framework, life becomes more private, but also more internal. And that kind of transition can be emotionally complex. Fans have wondered whether the shift away from TV, combined with the responsibilities of raising 3 young children, has created a period of adjustment, one where Tori is redefining her balance, her energy, and her priorities. Zach's quiet presence during this time hasn't gone unnoticed. He doesn't need to explain anything. His actions, standing beside his family, appearing steady, showing up consistently, tell a story on their own. Because sometimes support doesn't come in speeches. It comes in consistency. It comes in showing up when no one is watching. It comes in protecting the emotional space of the people you love. And fans see that. They see a family that may be navigating challenges privately, but doing so together. They see parents who are choosing stability over attention. They see a husband who appears focused on making sure his family feels secure. And they see a mother who, even in quieter moments, continues to show strength in ways that don't always need to be visible. Whatever Tori is experiencing, one thing remains clear: she isn't carrying it alone. And for fans who have followed their journey from the very beginning, that quiet unity speaks louder than anything else. At this point, there is no confirmed evidence suggesting that Tori Roloff is facing any kind of serious or life-threatening health crisis. But what is clear is that something has shifted, and fans can feel it. Whether it's her quieter presence online, her focus on home life, or the way she's been choosing what to share and what to keep private, it all points to someone who is being more intentional with her energy, her time, and her well-being. And honestly, that's not something to fear, it's something to respect. Life in the public eye can be overwhelming. For years, Tori allowed cameras into some of her most personal moments, her motherhood journey, her struggles, her joys, and her challenges. But now, it seems she may be entering a different season. A season that's less about explaining everything to the world and more about protecting what matters most behind the scenes. Sometimes, stepping back isn't a sign that something is wrong. Sometimes, it's a sign that someone is finally listening to themselves. Fans have noticed, and instead of panic or criticism, the overwhelming response has been support. Messages of love, messages of encouragement, messages reminding her that she doesn't owe anyone constant updates, only honesty when she feels ready. That kind of support speaks volumes, not just about Tori, but about the connection she's built with people over the years. Whether this is a period of rest, personal growth, family focus, or simply a quieter chapter away from constant public attention, one thing remains certain: Tori Roloff is still surrounded by the people who matter most. Her husband, her children, her family, and a community that genuinely cares about her well-being. And if there's ever more to share, it will come directly from her, on her terms, in her time. Until then, the most important thing fans can do is exactly what they've been doing: showing patience, showing kindness, and respecting her space. Because sometimes, silence isn't something to fear. Sometimes it's where healing, clarity, and strength begin. With that said, thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more updates and stories. And as always, we'll see you in the next video.